Can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. We are back for another final prediction video. Title action taking place in Sheffield this weekend between Northern Irishman Sean McComb and the undefeated Welshman Ben Crocker. Paul, good to be joined by you as always. Thank you for your time. I've got a feeling who you're going to predict to win this fight, but won't say anything else. I'll hand things over to you. Who are you predicting to win this fight? A good fight, by the way, headlining the GBM show. Both fighters have been in good form, but yeah, we'll hand things over to you, Paul. Who's going to win this fight?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, I think this is a kind of creeped up a little bit. There was obviously a few massive fights earlier in September, and this has kind of gone under the radar. But it's a decent fight, I think, as you mentioned. I think based off, I don't, I mean, you could call it bias because he's from Belfast, but like based off the fighters they've been in with and their performances and what have you, I make Sean McComb a big favorite here. And that's who I'm picking to win the fight. I think, like you look at Sean McComb, like I still keep on talking about people still talking about that Arnold Barbosa fight where he, for want of a better phrase, got robbed in most people's eyes. And since then he's just had such a frustrating time because understandably nobody's wanted to fight him because he's very high risk and no reward whatsoever. Unfortunately, and that's just boxing. But yeah, I think this is a good fight. Fair play to both men for taking it. I think Ben Crocker, as you mentioned, is a good fighter. But ultimately, for me, I see Sean McComb winning this very wide, unanimous decision. I think he'll win this rather comfortably. What about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one because Ben Crocker, um, we kind of know him a little bit about because we've been on the small hall scene in Wales for many years. Shout out to Dowie Thomas, and we've kind of gotten to know Ben Crocker a bit. And without sounding disrespectful, I thought he one of these small fighters who kind of gets stuck into this small hall scene and doesn't get an opportunity on a big platform. And Ben Crocker, when he's had those opportunities on top tier shows, he's stayed undefeated. He drew his last fight. Some people thought he lost, but he's kept on going, and he's wanted an opportunity like this for a while now. He's 31 years old now, so only a couple of years younger than Sean McComb. In terms of my prediction, I'll Sean McComb points. I'll go for kind of a 97, 93, 98, 92 scorecard. It won't be a shutout, but it won't be that close either. That's what I'm expecting to happen. That's what I think should happen. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Got a couple of questions for you, Paul. Sh With Sean McComb, like, what level do you see him as? Do you see him as a world level super lightweight? Because you mentioned the fight against Arnold Barboza, and I don't blame you for bringing it up because it was a robbery. Barboza went on to beat Jack Catterall, as we all know, and then fight for a world title. And Sean McComb, he's just not done an awful lot wrong. There was that loss to Gavin Gwynn, which was a long time ago now. But would you call him world level? Would you call him European level? What would you call him?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I would say he is a world level. He's a world class fighter, to be honest. I mean, if you have Arnold Barboza as a world class fighter, and beat Jack Catterall, who a lot of people would perceive as a fringe world class fighter. I think he's above European level. Maybe when you talk about the best 140-pound fighters in the world, um, he's maybe not up there with your the top three, top five, but I think he's world class. And like it's just with his style and the way he fights, it's so frustrating because I understand why he's not getting given opportunities because he's just like I think Eddie Hearn even mentioned it during the Crocker Donovan fight week on a podcast I was listening to that like he's just through through his through no fault of his own through his own the way he boxes he's just like he's almost shooting himself in the foot every time because you're not going to want to fight him because if you do fight him there's a high chance you might lose and if you and if you beat him it's like it doesn't really propel you anywhere anyway because he doesn't hold any belts, doesn't hold massively high rankings in any of
Mm.
the governing bodies either. Um, So yeah, I think he is a world class fighter. Whether or not he goes on to win a world title or not remains to be seen. But I think that at 140 pounds, Sean McComb, yeah, he is world class, and I think he needs a big fight. I'm hoping. There's actually a comedy podcast I listened to, with a local comedian, and Eddie Hearn was on his podcast, and he didn't say anything about names, but he said about McComb having this fight against Ben Crocker coming up, but that he was actually in contact with Sean McComb for a big fight, is what Eddie Hearn said, a few months down the line. So whether or not what that is, I'm not so sure. But think then hopefully Hearn sticks to his word, and if he wins this, Sean McComb can maybe do see him in a big fight at the end of 2025, beginning of 2026.
Yeah, we'll see. This is for the IBF European title. So I don't know if Sean McComb was to win this fight, what sort of ranking that would get him in the IBF, but it would be a I just think it would be a long road to fight for the IBF title, the IBF champion Richardson Hitchens. So if Sean McComb's to fight for a world title, I just don't see that being for like 18 months, 2 years, in my opinion. And as you kind of alluded to, I don't think any of the other world champions are going to kind of select him to fight. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But this is his time to shine. He's in the main event. Against an undefeated fighter, and it's his chance to kind of do things in style. Final question for me to you, Paul. You mentioned kind of comparing him against some of the best super lightweights in the world. I want to know if you think he's the best super lightweight in Ireland. Pierce O'Leary is the name. According to BoxRec, Pierce O'Leary's number one. Hasn't really put a foot wrong so far in his career. That's a fight I'd quite like to see. I just think we're at the moment we've seen Crocker Donovan in a massive event in Belfast. The week before, we saw Mick Conlan fight in Dublin for the first time as a professional. Katie Taylor could fight in Ireland next year. It feels like Northern Irish boxing has got a bit of a buzz around it at the moment. This would be another massive fight. Would you back Sean McComb to beat Pierce O'Leary?
Man, that's a great fight. It's a cracking fight, and yeah, I think stylistically that I would be backing Sean McComb there. Get me wrong. I wouldn't say, it wouldn't be a comprehensive win every round kind of job, because Pierce O'Leary is class. He's a big puncher as well. But I think that Sean McComb has the style to frustrate him and beat him on points.
Fantastic. All right. Well, fingers crossed. I think all gone a bit quiet about Pierce O'Leary. So from what I heard, he was supposed to be headlining in Dublin himself in October or November time, but that seems to have gone a bit quiet. But we'll see. I would love that fight as well. Paul, thank you very much for your time, and I'll speak to you again very soon.
Thanks, mate. All the best.